So now next I require to find Z transform of n, and next standard Z transform called Z transform of n. So by property we know that by property of Z transform we know that Z transform of n power k is what? Minus z into d by dz of Z transform of n power k minus 1. So now we know the property that is called Z transform of n power k is equal to minus z into d by dz of Z transform of n power k minus 1, right? So to get Z transform of n, so for what value of k you are going to get Z transform of n here. So if we put k equal to 1, n power 1 is what? N power 1 is nothing but n itself. Therefore Z transform of n is equal to minus z into d by dz of Z transform of n power. I am giving the value called k equal to 1. So 1 minus 1, n power 1 minus 1, n power 0 is what? 1. So just now I given the particular case Z transform of 1. Z transform of 1 is what? Z by z minus 1. Z transform of 1 is what? Z by z minus 1. Substituting that, minus z into d by dz of z by z minus 1. Now I should differentiate this with respect to z by using quotient rule, which is nothing but minus z into quotient rule, denominator square z minus 1 the whole square, numerator is what? Denominator z minus 1 into derivative of numerator, derivative of z with respect to z is 1 minus numerator into derivative of denominator, derivative of z minus 1 with respect to z is 1. So you are left out with what? Minus z into z minus 1 minus z divided by z minus 1 the whole square. So z plus z and minus z get cancelled. You are left out with minus 1 inside. Minus 1 into minus z is nothing but what? Z by z minus 1 the whole square. This is the standard form of Z transform of n. Z transform of n. Similarly, we have a standard Z transform for Z transform of n square, Z transform of n cube, Z transform of n power 4. We can find all the standard Z transform. Just I will give the list of this. Similarly, you can find the Z transform of n square. K equal to 2 here, you are going to get Z transform of n square, which is equal to minus z into d by dz of Z transform of n. 2 minus 1 is n power 1. Z transform of n, you know that Z transform of n is what? Z by z minus 1 the whole square. Using this definition, we can find the Z transform of n square. Similarly, Z transform of n cube. Similarly, Z transform of n power 4.